This is SoulCharge, the podcast for women leaders to take the highest level of ownership of their power to create results now. I'm your host, Stacy B. Let's dive in. This episode is to empower you with a tool on something that is very sneaky and stealing your energy day in and day out. It plagues women leaders just like you, and it plagues leaders in general. And when you can wrap your mind around this, your hands around this, this tool is going to allow you to shift quickly and make it so the little things that used to get you caught up are no longer of concern. One of the biggest things that I see in powerful women leaders is that when they start to feel off, they have a series of filing that they do with that feeling. And in an effort to combat that feeling or deal with that feeling, what women leaders will do is they'll try to change things. They'll try to resist the feeling. They'll do certain things to escape the feeling. And all of those things are creating a great deal of resistance, giving the very thing they're wanting to change power. And so this is a subtle shift, this tool, but it is so powerful and you will feel it instantly. And so the next time that you are feeling a certain way that you don't like, in the past, you may have a way you handle that. So let me just give you a few examples so you know where I'm going. If you don't feel good, or let's say my energy feels off. And when my energy feels off, my solution for that is I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to do energy work. I'm going to work through it in a certain way. And what I'm doing though, is I'm taking the way that I feel. I don't like that feeling, and I'm going to solve it. You can see that I'm dropping down into the problem, right? And so what happens is when I am entering into any solution with getting rid of that feeling in mind, all that it does is it actually gives the very thing I'm trying to release power. So here is your power move. Here is the shift. You feel something. Identify what it is. So if I feel off, I'm not going to stop at I feel off. I'm going to say, okay, Stacy, let's get curious about the feeling. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Like, what situation is triggering this? Well, I feel off because I tried to delegate this thing to the team and they dropped the ball, and then this client was impacted. And so I'm feeling off, but really, what's the truth? I feel disappointed in this example. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to solve that disappointment by going and escaping it. And that's the very thing that perpetuates more circumstances to attract and align with that very thing. So if I feel disappointed, the trick is this: can I stay with the disappointment? Because if I stay with the disappointment passes like a passing cloud, and it truly is less than 2 minutes. Can I stay with the disappointment? Then it dissipates. And all the time that you spent recreating things or shifting things or making things look a different way, this like ultimate like Rubik's Cube that we do, all of that gets to be intentionally directed towards creation, towards creating what you want, versus spending and expending so much energy trying to make things look a certain way so you don't feel a certain way. When in all actuality, all that your body, mind, and soul is wanting you to do is be seen. The more that you give yourself the gift of being seen, the more that these things don't weigh you down. And those things that weigh you down, those have a frequency. Everything has a resonance. You have a magnetic field around you. And so if you are allowing yourself to get caught up in the everyday emotions, your entire weeks are a big fat chapter of start-stop energy. You may be externally moving things forward, but it's so much slower than it actually could be. And so if you take this really seriously and say, I am going to empower my internal state, and I'm going to prioritize this as number one, Because if I prioritize my internal state as number one, what that means is everything that comes out of me is going to have a level of intentionality and consciousness that is unheard of. And if I commit to that level of intentionality, that level of consciousness, how is everyone around me going to be impacted? Very positively, right? Because there's a level of awareness of, I'm showing up this way. I don't like that. I'm going to bring my attention to the underlying feeling beneath it. I'm not going to judge the feeling or make myself wrong. And then I notice that passes in about 2 minutes. And then I can assume the state, the intended state, and then I go on. And then later in the day, something triggers. It's a different emotion. I'm going to stop, see, be, move. Stop, see, be, move. Here's why this matters, is you are playing chess, not checkers. You are playing a different game that if you start to see the power of your internal state and actually leverage it, the ability to command results and get what you want in record time, in exponential speed, is going to blow your mind. Because what you're doing is you're saying, I am going to be so intentional with how I feel and ensure that that is of the highest resonance consistently, which gets me out of the start-stop energy, which stops me driving with the emergency brake on, driving 180 miles in my Ferrari, and I have the emergency brake on. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yes, you know that you're doing this in some way. And all we have to do is just bring a deeper level of intention to our inner state, because this is the oneness. This is your truth. This is your natural state. My intention in SoulCharge is to remove the charges on your soul so that you can be free to create anything you want. The charges on your soul mean these underlying things that you let pass by or that you get caught up with day in and day out, and you suppress, not understanding the immense impact that has on your system. Prioritizing the impact on your system and ensuring you see, be, and move. I know I skipped a step there in the steps and the process that I just explained. We're going to see, we're going to be, we're going to move. Maybe it just needs to be shorter, so we're going to roll with that. But that's the point, right? The more you prioritize your level of functionality, of prioritizing your optimization, you get to use what your internal state, what you as the powerhouse was designed for, which is creation. You can't create with a 100-pound gorilla on your back. And that's what's happening every time you entertain that emotion, that feeling, you're giving it power, and it's this unnecessary drain. And so use this and see how quickly this shifts your day-to-day and allows you to drive that Ferrari at 180 miles an hour, which is how you've been designed to drive. Are you loving SoulCharge? If so, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share an episode. We want to bring powerful content to women leaders each week so that women can be unleashed to create the results that they want now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.